Manchester United's big summer shakeup. Why selling 5 players could change everything. Picture this. You wake up one morning and discover that Marcus Rashford, the boy who grew up dreaming of playing for Manchester United, might be packing his bags this summer. Sounds crazy, right? Well, that's exactly what's happening at Old Trafford right now. After what can only be described as United's worst season in over 50 years, the club is planning something drastic. They want to sell 5 players, including some big names that will shock you. But before you panic, let's dive deep into why this might actually be the best thing that could happen to our beloved club. The reality check. How bad was this season really? Let's be honest with each other. This season was painful to watch. Really painful. Manchester United finished 15th in the Premier League. Yes, you read that right, 15th. That's lower than teams like Brighton, Fulham, and even newly promoted Leicester City. But it gets worse. The team scored only 44 goals in 38 league games. To put that in perspective, that's barely more than 1 goal per game. Even relegation-threatened teams scored more than United did this season. The goal difference tells an even sadder story. United ended the season with minus 11 goals. This means they conceded 11 more goals than they scored. For a club that once dominated English football, these numbers are hard to accept. And then there's the European situation. United lost the Europa League final to Tottenham Hotspur. This loss means they won't be playing in any European competition next season. When was the last time that happened? You have to go back to the 2014-15 season to find the answer. So yes, changes are needed. Big changes. Who's getting sold and why? Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Who are these 5 players that United wants to sell? Marcus Rashford, Alejandro Garnacho, Tyrell Malacia, Casemiro, and Jadon Sancho. Marcus Rashford, the painful decision. This is probably the hardest pill to swallow for most United fans. Marcus Rashford, the local lad who came through the academy, might be leaving Old Trafford this summer. But why would United sell their own academy graduate? The answer lies in what happened this season. Remember the Manchester Derby on December 15th? Both Rashford and Garnacho were dropped from the squad. Since then, Rashford hasn't played a single game for United. Think about that for a moment. A player who scored 30 goals just 2 seasons ago hasn't kicked a ball for his boyhood club in months. That tells you everything about how bad the relationship between him and manager Ruben Amorim has become. Reports suggest that Rashford wants to leave permanently this summer. Barcelona is apparently his top choice. Can you blame him? When you're not even making the bench at your home club, it's time to look elsewhere. Alejandro Garnacho, the young talent in limbo. Garnacho's situation is different but equally concerning. The young Argentine winger showed so much promise in previous seasons. He was supposed to be part of United's future. But his form has dropped dramatically since Amorim took charge. Like Rashford, Garnacho was also dropped for that December Manchester Derby. His confidence seems shattered, and his performances have suffered as a result. The question is, should United give up on a young talent so quickly? Or is it better to cash in now while he still has value in the transfer market? Tyrell Malacia, the injury-plagued defender. Then there's Tyrell Malacia. The Dutch left-back has had a nightmare with injuries. He's missed nearly 2 full seasons and has never looked the same player since. Football is a results business. If a player can't stay fit, clubs can't rely on them. It's harsh but true. United need players they can count on week in and week out. Casemiro, the aging midfielder. The 4th player on United's exit list is Casemiro. The Brazilian midfielder was supposed to bring experience and leadership when he joined from Real Madrid. But father time catches up with everyone, even world-class players. Casemiro has looked slow and out of place in many games this season. The Premier League's pace seems too much for him now. 32 years old, his legs just can't keep up with the demands of English football anymore. His wages are also a major issue. Casemiro is one of United's highest-paid players, but his performances don't justify his salary. In a world where financial fair play matters, United can't afford to keep paying huge wages to underperforming players. Jadon Sancho, the expensive disappointment. The 5th player is Jadon Sancho. Remember when United fans were desperate to sign him? The club paid Borussia Dortmund £73 million for his services. That seems like a lifetime ago now. Sancho's United career has been one disappointment after another. He's shown flashes of his talent, but never consistently. His attitude has also been questioned multiple times. Last season, he had a very public falling out with Erik ten Hag and was sent away from the first team. While he's currently on loan at Chelsea, it's clear that his future lies away from Old Trafford. United need to cut their losses and move on from what has been one of their worst signings in recent years. Why is Amorim making these tough calls? Ruben Amorim didn't become one of Europe's most promising managers by being soft. He's making the hard decisions that previous United managers couldn't or wouldn't make. His reasoning is simple and smart. He said, "Without the Champions League, we also don't need a big squad. We can control the squad in a better way." This makes perfect sense. When you're not playing in Europe, you have fewer games. Fewer games mean you need fewer players. It's better to have 20 committed, quality players than 30 players where half aren't good enough or don't want to be there. Amorim also mentioned that the plan is to bring in some new players, but our big plan is to improve the team we have, to improve the academy. This sounds like a manager who has a clear vision. He wants to build something sustainable, not just throw money at the problem. The scoring problem. Why United need new attackers. Let's talk about United's biggest problem this season. Scoring goals. The team managed only 44 goals in 38 league games. That's simply not good enough for a club of United stature. Who carried the scoring burden? Mainly Bruno Fernandes and Amad Diallo. That's not enough firepower for a full season. When your midfielders are your top scorers, you know something's wrong with your attack. This is why United are reportedly looking at big-name strikers like Victor Gyökeres and Victor Osimhen. Both are proven goal scorers who could transform United's attack. But here's the question. Can United attract these top players without Champions League football? That's going to be the real challenge. The smart moves. Cunha and Bumo. While everyone's talking about who's leaving, let's look at who's coming in. United have already signed Matheus Cunha from Wolves and are close to getting Bryan Bumo from Brentford. These are smart signings. Both players know the Premier League well. Cunha has shown he can score goals even in struggling teams. Bumo has been one of Brentford's most consistent performers. Are these the kind of signings that will get United back to the top? Maybe not immediately, but they're the type of players who can help build a solid foundation. The academy focus. Building for the future. One thing that excites many United fans is Amorim's focus on the academy. He specifically mentioned improving the academy as part of his plan. United's academy has always been special. It's produced legends like Marcus Rashford, Paul Pogba, and going back further, the class of '92. But in recent years, the pathway from academy to first team has been unclear. If Amorim can create a clear development path for young players, it could transform the club's future. Imagine having a steady stream of talented youngsters ready to step up to the first team. Will this strategy work? This is the big question every United fan is asking. Will selling established players and bringing in new faces actually work? History suggests it might. Look at what Amorim did at Sporting CP. He took a club that hadn't won the league in years and turned them into champions. He did it by being ruthless with underperforming players and building a team that played his way. But the Premier League is different from the Portuguese league. The pressure is greater, the pace is faster, and the margin for error is smaller. The truth is, United fans need to be patient. This rebuilding process won't happen overnight. There will be more tough decisions ahead. What about the fans? Let's be real for a moment. Watching Marcus Rashford potentially leave will hurt. He's been a symbol of hope for many fans, especially during the darkest periods of recent years. But sometimes, fresh starts benefit everyone. Maybe Rashford needs a new challenge to rediscover his best form. Maybe United need to move on from players who aren't fully committed to the project. Football is emotional, but it's also a business. The fans' loyalty is admirable, but the club needs to make decisions based on what's best for the future, not the past. The financial impact, big money moves. Selling these 5 players could bring in massive money for United. Let's think about the potential income. Rashford could fetch anywhere from 60 to 80 million pounds, especially if Barcelona or other top clubs get involved in a bidding war. Garnacho, despite his recent struggles, is still young and talented. He could bring in 40 to 50 million pounds. Sancho's situation is trickier because of his high wages and poor form, but United could still recoup 30 to 40 million pounds. Casemiro might be harder to sell due to his age and wages, but Saudi Arabian clubs have shown interest in experienced players. 20 to 30 million pounds is possible. Even Malaysia, despite his injury problems, could bring in 10 to 15 million pounds from a club willing to take a chance on his recovery. In total, we're looking at potential income of 160 to 215 million pounds. That's serious money that could fund a complete squad overhaul. Looking ahead, what comes next? The summer transfer window will be crucial for United's future. If they can successfully sell the players they want to move on and bring in the right replacements, this could be the start of something special. But if the sales don't happen or the new signings don't work out, United could be looking at another difficult season. The pressure is on Amorim to get this right. He's making big promises about improving the team and the academy. United fans will be watching closely to see if he can deliver. Questions that need answers. As this transfer saga unfolds, several questions remain. Will Barcelona or other top clubs actually pay what United want for Rashford? Can United attract quality players without Champions League football? Will the academy players get real chances in the first team? Can Amorim's system work in the Premier League? These questions will be answered over the coming months and seasons. The bottom line: change is never easy, especially when it involves beloved players like Marcus Rashford. But sometimes change is exactly what's needed. United's 15th place finish was a wake-up call. The club can't continue doing the same things and expect different results. Amorim's plan might seem harsh, but it could be exactly what United needs. The next few months will be fascinating to watch. Will this bold strategy pay off? Will United fans look back on this summer as the turning point that saved their club? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain: Manchester United is about to look very different next season. Whether that's good or bad depends on how well these changes are executed. For now, all we can do is trust the process and hope that Amorim knows what he's doing. After all, United fans have been through worse times and come out stronger. The Red Devils are planning their comeback. Let's see if they can pull it off.